Hey, what's up guys? This is Church of Caboose, and for today's Destiny 2 video on March 17th, while I'm stuck in quarantine, not because I'm sick, but social distancing, we had the 4th Horseman exotic quest drop, and this quest can be a doozy. The whole point of what I'm trying to do for you guys is give you a fast and efficient way to get this 4-barreled exotic shotgun that was a beast in Destiny 1, and I imagine will become quite meta for trials and other PvP things for Destiny 2. I do know a guy, he thinks he'll be the new DPS king, but we'll have to wait and see if that is in fact the case. So if we were to first kick this off by asking you guys to like and subscribe to the channel if these guys help, I always try to give you the most efficient ways of doing everything possible. Okay, so for the guide. So first go to Savala, grab the exotic quest like I just did, and now you're going to have to find a secret little vault. It's similar to Leviathan's Breath. So real quick, my character's just running over to grab some bounties because I thought there'd be a crucible component to this quest, and there is not. So for the rest of this little section of finding the vault, just follow along on screen. I'm going to shut up and just turn up the music and hope you guys enjoy it.
Get to making with jive boy, shine. When it hits you, yes, 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 you shine. When it hits you, yes, yes, yes. When it hits you, yes, 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 you shine. When it hits you, yes, 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 you holler, yes. 1, 2, 3.
Alright, so you've gotten the quest step picked up because you followed my gameplay and managed to find the secret vault, so congratulations, woohoo, you did it. Alright, now on to the meat and long grind, which is the rest of the quest. First thing up, you need to go to Anna Bray, and she will give you a quest step that tells you to kill Cabal and or do public events on Mars, so that way you can get progress on a percentage basis. So the higher your season rank is, by the way, the faster these tips will help you, but I'm imagining if these are the most efficient for myself at season rank 51, they're probably still the most efficient for you at any rank. It's just you might do less runs than me if you're higher up, or you might have to do more runs than me if you're lower down on the season rank. Alright, so I messed around with some patrols. I did lost sectors. I did just wandering around, killing those like patrols or the wanted cabal dudes. I would just be like, let's find this guy. Was it a cabal? Oh, great. And I found escalation protocol once again is the most efficient way of completing a quest step. You might be thinking to yourself, but church, it's all Hive. I know, but since the quest step says public events, escalation protocol is a public event and it counts. I was getting about 10% completed per wave, so I only had to do I myself did 7 waves because of my experimenting, but then you would only have to do 10 total waves of escalation protocol. There's also the chance that if you get all the way up to wave 7, past wave 4 or so, because that's all I had to get up to, you might get more percentages for each wave as you go, and so perhaps you don't even have to do all 7 waves or do 10 waves for assuming each one's an even 10% per wave clear. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, ask down below and I'll try to clarify it more. So to fly through this step, just do escalation protocol. This tip will save you hours. I have a feeling there's going to be a handful of people running lost sectors for these couple of steps all day long, spending 5 or 6 hours when you could just do some of these tips and spend like a half hour to an hour tops for some of these farm things. Alright, if you're worried about teammates and like, I'm playing by myself, escalation protocol will still work. I have a feeling because of the coronavirus and also as based off of history with how Destiny and what Destiny players are playing, you're going to have a lot of random people that are spawning in to play escalation protocol, and so odds are you could load in by yourself and still have a good chunk of teammates that make it easy to get at least a handful of waves cleared before you might fail. And if you do load into an area that has nobody in it, just pull up your map and go to the opposite area. So if you're in the Glacial Drift, go to Hellas Basin. If you're in Hellas Basin, just load into the Glacial Drift and just flip back and forth all the time. You'll be good. Don't go to orbit. Just pull up your destination and just fast travel back and forth until you get a load-in area with enough people that you feel satisfied, like, yeah, I'm going to do this. All right, let's move on to the next step, which is very similar. It is, once again, Cabal. For this step, you have to scavenge intel from defeated Scions and Cabal chests. So basically, it's kind of like a patrol mission, only instead of when you kill a Scion, you have like a little like item drop. You just kill a Scion and you get progress. The best way I have found to accomplish this particular step was to run the lost sector that you see on screen. Just go down on the southern side of Mars, which is the Glacial Drift. When you spawn in, just follow the right side of the map up. You'll go up a cliffside and you'll run into a little cave and boom, there is your lost sector. And just do this lost sector over and over. I was finding that this lost sector has a relatively high number of Scions in it, and the chest progress, I was getting approximately 30% progress per lost sector clear. I think I had to do it barely over 3 times. I believe I had to run a 4th time just to kill a couple of Scions in the beginning, and then it was over. So hopefully this step will save you a lot of time from not doing things like sitting on the Braytech Futurescape for those 4 Scions that spawn in every like couple of minutes. I suppose that's one way of doing it, but I believe this lost sector farm is actually the best and most efficient way of completing this step without feeling like you want to shoot yourself and being like, I hate Destiny, I hate life, why am I doing this? Because believe me, y'all, I really think the 4th Horseman will be worth it, and these tips, once again, will save you so much time in your grinding and in your farm. If you're wanting to play with teammates, I already put a little text overlay back on the last step, but feel free to join the Church and Friends Discord server. I try to help people out the best I can. I know this week I'm trying really hard to take advantage of being self-quarantined or whatever we gotta call it, because work isn't a thing for me this week, and so I'm going to try to do all my pinnacles, but I will also try to help you guys out with doing things like these exotic quests and leveling up. Alright, let's move on to the next step. We are getting close to the end. Just hang on in there. We're going to go over to the EDZ. Just real quick before we talk about the EDZ, Twitch was super duper weird and it saved all the footage, like it malfunctioned and like did some really weird bizarre stuff, and so now all the footage right now is going to line up 100% how I was hoping for, so we're going to have some overlay of Mars footage and EDZ footage, but mostly Mars footage. Okay, Anyways, so you finished the Lost Sector thing where you got in the Cabal, chests, and the looted the Scions, and now you have to go talk to Bandit 9940 in the tower. Then he will say, go to the EDZ and complete the patrols, defeat combatants, and do public events to complete this step of the quest, which again is on percentage basis. So the higher your season rank is, the faster this will go. So what I found to be the fastest was a tie between heroic public events and the Seraph Towers. The Seraph Towers, I would usually get about 20% progress per Seraph Tower, and the heroic public events, I would usually get about 20% progress on just the heroic public events. The towers would take longer, but if you don't have a team that knows how to do the heroic public events, then you won't get as much progress, and so the towers could possibly be a better option. Now the towers, the Seraph Towers, are a new Horde mode public event, and with the heroic public events, they're like normal. If you're not sure how to do any of the heroic public events, I do have a video, and I'll do my best to put a card over this here, where I tell you how to make every single public event a heroic public event. And when you're doing both the Seraph Tower and these public events, you can usually grab a kill them all type of bounty. Usually these bounties are shaped like a diamond, or it's like a 3D pyramid looking triangle type deal. You grab one of those and you can typically finish that particular patrol while doing the Seraph Towers or while doing the heroic public event, which gives you an extra boost I found of about 4 to 8% progress. Now, what should you consider when trying to decide, should I do the Seraph Towers or a heroic public event? Well, the Seraph Towers, they're not super duper hard. It just seems like perhaps a lot of folks aren't sure of how to make it work. So let's give you a real brief explanation of how to complete the Seraph Tower public event on the EDZ in the Winding Cove. Basically, you have a middle tower that's called the Collector. You are trying to get energy from outside surrounding towers to move from that outside surrounding tower into the middle Collector Tower. You move that energy by having these orbs drop, and you grab an orb, throw it at the significantly concentrated orange-looking ball thing in the wall of energy at the outside tower, and that moves that ball of energy towards the inner tower that I'm calling the Collector. You get more orbs by keeping ads off of your outside tower, and if there are ads on your outside tower, especially when the orbs drop, they usually only drop like 2 or 3. If you keep that outside tower open, they drop like 6 to 8. So you definitely want to keep the ads off of the tower around the time when the orbs are going to drop. And that's how the public event works. Once you have reached full construction of 100%, some bosses spawn in. They're mostly anti-barrier unstoppables is what I've been seeing. Who knows? Let me know if there's other stuff that you guys have noticed for bosses down below. You kill those bosses, that finishes the tower, and that would give you the most progress percentage-wise. But if you do not have a full fire team of 3, there's not many people around, or people just don't know what they're doing, really you only get progress for the combatants you have killed when doing the Seraph Tower. One pro of doing the Seraph Tower, even if you can't finish it, is it's still a decent way of farming those worm mine bits, which we'll need lots of when we get to the moon bunker within the next week or so. Heroic public events are great because you can do them really, really quick, as long as you and your teammates know how to make them heroic. Downside is if you're a solo player, sometimes heroic public events can be difficult to make those heroic events by yourself. So that's really just kind of up to you to decide. I would, in general, suggest trying out the Seraph Tower first because it gives you some of the current seasonal currency and just kind of helps you to farm out some of the newer stuff that you need anyways. And then maybe if you're just really desperate, really desperate for time, you and your teammates can maybe just do the heroic public events and knock him out that way. Then there's one last step left for getting the 4th Horseman. Unfortunately, it's locked behind a daily rotation of doing the legendary Lost Sector of the Quarry, so we have to wait for tomorrow, March 18th, before we can actually finish this weapon. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I really hope this guide saved you guys a bunch of time and energy and frustration. Let me know down below. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please click like and subscribe. My main goal of this channel is to save you guys as much time and energy as possible, so that way you don't have to be a full-time YouTuber or like a full-time streamer or gamer person, and you can just knock this stuff out nice and quick. I am Church of Caboose. Have a great week, and happy grinding, y'all.